needed to create the street and or utilities that go in front of a person's parcel, rather than just per each, because the arguments that come back from those that say, well, I've got a 50-foot lot, they've got a 125-foot lot, shouldn't they be paying a little bit more? It takes that much more to get past their property. And I don't know that you're necessarily going to find a 100% answer that's going to satisfy you, because everybody always wants it the other way. It's going to kind of benefit them. And what we try to do in the system is build in the fairness and equality as best we can, and try to take out some of that with what the city is taking on, the 70-30 types of reconstruction formulas that are afforded to those. But in the end, it really comes down to a policy decision, and that's the policy the city has, is front footage.
All right, thank you.
Is there anybody else?
Steve Lorenz, 301 West Church Street. Can't say that I'm real pleased about how much I'm going to be charged for this. I had a conversation with Mr. Murphy about it last week. I realize that it sounds like no matter what, I'm getting charged for this. Is that, and the assessment is supposed to then somehow make the value of my property that much higher. Is that correct? Am I correct in that thinking?
Yes.
Okay, well, across the street from me, I have a house that's been condemned. That's brought the property value of the whole neighborhood down. So how is charging me an extra whatever it is gonna make my property value go back up when there's a condemned house across the street that's brought the whole neighborhood down? Can I get some clarity on that, maybe?
Well, they're really, I mean, they're separate issues. We're well aware of that property. We are in the process of working with it with code enforcement, but something that we will need to be taken care of, but yeah.
But the problem I got now is I owe more on my house than it's worth, and now you're adding another $10,000 to my house bill. And in this economy, like you guys all just said, how is that benefiting me at all?
Mr. Lorenz, I wish there was something that we could say that's going to make you feel better, and I don't think that there is. And there is no solution to the economic situation that we're in right now other than to wait it out. And that's the proposal. We're asking everybody in the neighborhood, everybody in the city to share the cost of the upkeep of the city. It's not just your house. It's the streets, it's the structure, it's the infrastructure. And if we were to not do the project, it's still going to have an effect. It'll have an effect on the rest of the properties as well as the single incident of this condemned house. Now, the solvable problem here is the condemned house. We can work with the property owner, we can clean it up, we can get it back on its feet, as it were, just as we're asking you to do to share in the cost of keeping the city on its feet. And we don't get to pick and choose the time, economic times that we put this on, folks. Everybody takes their turn. And I know that's not a satisfactory answer. It doesn't solve your problem, and we feel for you. And, we've all gone through street assessments. I'm just paying mine off from 7 or 8 years ago, and I understand. But
So let's, for argument's sake, let's say I don't want to pay it. What happens? Do I sue the city? What?
say it again. If you don't want to
So
pay
if
it,
I don't
what?
want to pay it, what happens? I mean, do I have to sue the city?
Sue the city?
Is that my option? Or do I, what?
You can appeal this. If you feel that this assessment isn't going to add that amount of value to your house, you can appeal this.
Okay.
And you
how
have to
do I
take
do
that where?
City Attorney Bose would probably best
Okay.
answer that.
Yeah, Mayor and Council, the process for appealing special assessments is set out in the notice. In effect, what the notice says is that to do that, to preserve your right to appeal, you need to file something in writing tonight. So, it can be handwritten, but you'd need to write something with the property address and sign it, indicating that you object to the amount of the assessment, and that preserves your right to appeal. In turn, I'm not going to sort of give you legal advice about how to carry out one of these appeals, but you then have the right to go to court and challenge the amount of the assessment.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lorenz. there anybody else?
Chris Sherman, 116 West Church. I know we talked about, I have a corner lot, and we've discussed the precedent that's been set and keeping things consistent. But is there room to, change and then become consistent in a more, I think, fair way versus the per foot lot versus the parcel? I mean, have you already done that? Have you decided that it's going to be a foot? Or is it just, that's the way it has been in the past?
That's the way the policy has been, and it's remained unchanged for a number of years. There have been some recent discussions about the potential for opening up that and seeing how modification to the policy would affect particular configurations of lots, to see if there's something more equitable. But at this point, the policy has remained unchanged.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Is there anybody else? All right.
So move to close the public hearing.
Motion by Lang, second by O'Laughlin to close the public hearing. Is there any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Okay, council, we have to look at 7.11, Resolution 09-115, adopting the final assessment for the 2009 street improvement project.
So move to approve resolution 091.
I do, excuse me, I do
Yep.
need to slide one piece of information in regards to Block 103. And I didn't see any of the representatives here tonight from, which bar was it? The Red Door Bar. We did, just last week, a small piece of sidewalk that we discussed with the property owner. And according to the sidewalk policy, they would be paying for half of the removal and reconstruction. So in the case of Daniel C. Nisen, PID 200015280, his assessment would be increased by $400.
All right. So with that modification, I'm looking for a motion, or, and you started a motion there, Mr. Lang?
Yes,
And
I did.
a motion by Lang, second by O'Laughlin. Is there any discussion?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Trost.